States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Abby, the roll, please.
Mr. Erickson.
Here.
Mr. Malinger.
Here.
Ms. Duffy. Here. Mr. Craig.
Here.
Mr. Bogowski.
Here.
Ms. Burge. Here. Mr. Burke.
Here.
That's enough. We have quorum. Consideration of minutes. Tammy has attached minutes from the November or September meeting here.
Nope, it's the November one. I corrected it.
Oh, thank you. Okay, we can ignore that. Plan commission was, entertain a motion to approve the
I'll make
minutes.
that motion.
Second.
Any conversation, corrections, additions? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Audience participation. Jennifer, anything tonight? Nothing in particular? Okay, we have nothing except for old business, the framework for the Porter rental ordinance. So we're gonna go straight to that. Jim, thanks for parsing out the issues to clear, so everybody got a chance to look through each one of them. And I think it was a very good exercise to help us sit with our own thinking and think about the impact of all of those. Talked with Mike today, the first part of it, the rental framework, the suggestions for the rental units part of the framework, there were no changes from last time. So there's nothing more to be done there. So the only thing we really have to consider now is the section for accessory dwelling units. So let me couch this about why we're doing it. Number one, because there was a comprehensive plan approved last year. And goal one included a set of tasks to address planning for the future for the town itself. And one of those tasks was to consider accessory dwelling units. So that's one reason why we're here. And recall, we bundled it together with discussion about improving the rental code, which is also a patent need that we had that came out of the comprehensive plan, and it made sense to consider those at the same time. So that's number one. The number two reason why we're doing it is because if we don't do it, the issue doesn't go away. If we don't do it, then people who want to do things like this are gonna come before the BZA. And we know they're out there. And if we turn it over to the BZA, then they have to consider each one on its own merits with no particular guidance. If we put guardrails around accessory dwelling units by putting it in the code, then that can structure them the way we want it, limit them the way we want it, and we don't leave it up to the chance happening of what the BZA can do. So that's the second reason why we're doing it. Third reason why we're doing it is because some might think it's a good idea. There are, I know of at least 2 accessory dwelling units in the town of Porter that were put in 20 years ago, and they're still there. The world didn't end, and the neighborhoods didn't go to heck. People lived in them, and then they don't live in them, and they can be lived in them again. I remember growing up in Milwaukee, the Kozner family, the Putes family on either side of me, they had things like this, and they served the function. And my own family, I can see the merit of. I have 3 children, all of whom are trying to buy a house. If you have children, my children's age, then you know how hard it is to buy a house right now. 2 of them are having kids. I'd like to have one of these if I could move in with them. The interesting thing is when I look at the strictures that we talked about, that Jim mentioned, and that those who voted all sit in there. If we do something like sketched out here, I couldn't put an accessory dwelling unit on my current house. Appropriately so, because I couldn't meet the development standards. It's an inappropriate place for them. Nonetheless, I think they are a good thing, and they have a place. They certainly have a place in America for the right situation, and they could have a place in my family for them. So I personally want them to be considered. But I also want, the same thing that you want is, for the town of Porter, if we're gonna do it, let's do it right. So it is an effective way to get the job done. So, as I said, I think Jim's exercise was very good. It gave each of us an opportunity to look at the salient issues. I have a suggestion for how we proceed. So I've accepted all the changes that we made to the document, and it's all black, except for a section of the draft guidelines, which on the last page, second to last page of this deck here, in blue are the issues that were sketched out as the things that we need to talk about. So, and to recall, let me bounce up even higher, 50,000 feet high. What we're doing here is we're just finalizing a framework, which is a non-binding consensus from the Plan Commission to guide the creation of the code, which Mike is working on, we're getting close to having, which we'll get to vote on later. To guide him in the creation of that, we just need to finalize this, so Mike can finalize the code, which will then be brought to us. So we can vote on this, we will vote on the code, and our voting on the code is only advice to the council, because the council will then have to look at our framework, look at the code, and they get to make their own minds. I just want to put this into context about what we're doing. So I have a suggestion for how we proceed. I suggest that we have a vote in the sense that we're not voting on a matter of business, just voting to share our opinion of, should we examine the accessory dwelling unit within the framework at all if we can find parameters that establish guardrails, yes, or no, and simply take this out of this document, turn the rest of the rental guidelines over to Mike and say, please finish it up. If we vote yes, we should at least consider it if we can find good guardrails, then we'll go through these issues that are in blue here, and based on the considerations that each one of us have given, following Jim's suggestions to us, let's take a look at these and see what's here or modify them, get through them, and then at the end, with the modifications that seem to meet the consensus, we'll again have a vote that says, yes, the way it stands right now, let's vote yes or no on that. Jay?
My suggestion to all of this right now with where we stand is kind of both of what your suggestion is I think we should eliminate it from this now and move forward on the rental stuff. Let's implement that and get through that while we can then figure out and navigate the ADU discussion. I don't want to hold up the other side, and I think would be hard on both Mike and potentially me if we put all this into place at one time. Because we're throwing a lot of work on Mike's desk with this rental, with this already, and then if we're throwing in the potential of adding up people seeing the benefit or seeing the ability to do this, I have a lot of concerns about that program. I think it's a great idea, but in long term, I have a lot of concerns. But I really want to see this rental thing move forward and stop and not hold it up with the ADU thing and continue that discussion after we get this moving. That's my suggestion. I don't want to kill it completely, but I think we need to move forward with the rental agreement and then continue working to the best solution, giving Mike a chance to get moving on the rental and getting the permits and getting all these inspections we're going to have to do completed before we throw a bunch of stuff at one time at it all.
Comments? Hey.
I like that idea. I think it's a smart approach to, just based on the rationale that Jay just shared, that we can get the whole rental thing in place, which is gonna be a lot. And let's be smart about the ADU thing, because people who want to share some space where they can use their renting their house, right, or something for now, but the ADU is a bigger and long-term situation that we have to, as the planning commission, I believe, that we have to be so very careful the way we set the projects now, so that in 20 years, we have still a beautiful place that people still want to live and work and play. So I like that idea. Not kill it, but go with the rental, and then let's look at this more closely and allow the other stuff to all get taken care of.
Other comments? Jim?
Overall, the drafting of this, I think, is very well done. All the background information, the justifications, ideas, thoughts behind why, both for the ADU as well as the overall, I think is well done. Kudos to everybody who contributed to have that written. As it's written, I mean, we addressed most of the things. There's a couple things I've amended my own positions. This is the last meeting on.
2 or 3 times in my case.
Yeah, and the way it's written, I really like as it sits. If we were to tackle it all together, I would be in favor of that. If everybody wants to be a little more cautious and put a little bit more time and think through some more details of the ADU part, I'm fine with that too, but I'm happy with as it's written, inclusively rental and ADU.
I've done a lot of research and thought into it. I'm happy to do it all at once. I don't think it'd be that much time, but that's just my opinion. I'm happy to go cautiously.
Thank you,
Until we need to.
Brian or Jim, you got anything you want to add to the discussion?
Nothing to add.
Jim, anything?
Oh,
Did you want to add anything?
no, I like what the chief said.
Yeah.
I need more time.
So I will make 2 comments. I understand wanting to get it right and taking a little more time to do it. With regard to, we are indeed throwing a lot at our staff. Mike, a lot. You'll get involved in some of it, inspections, by putting all this into place. I do think if we don't do anything with the ADU, we'll end up getting work anyways, because it'll just go to the BZA. People who want to do this are going to go to the BZA, so it's going to come on some kind of a schedule anyway. But I do understand the point about too much change at one time, and I absolutely understand the point about wanting to do it right. I think that's crucial. So so remember, this is not a formal, one of our formal processes, but I still like the idea of voting because it gets a good sense of consensus.
Rob,
Uh,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Even if we do it, these are just recommendations. They can take as long as they want to do it at council, right? To break up that work? These are just
We-
recommendations, so.
that's a good point. We could even say, Mike, we want to do all this, but just do the code or the rentals first.
Yeah, because I'm waiting on landscape code and lighting code that we've had those recommendations. on for a
And
while.
that's exactly what I'm saying, right? Write the rental code without the accessory part. I don't think we need to kill it completely, because I think maybe we can come to a consensus. There's a lot of T's to cross and a lot of I's, because my concern isn't about our intent now. My concern is what our intent turns into 20 years from now. So we need to make sure we're not only planning for the people that are gonna come in and build their accessory unit for their family, it's who's gonna buy that property in 20 years that sees it, and how we're gonna make sure in 20 years this doesn't turn into an issue. And it also gives us a little time to see how the rest of the world does it a little bit more, because we, as Mr. Mandan has said, there are big cities that have lots of money to throw at this who have said, we don't even wanna mess with that. And here we're the small town of Porter that is already very compact, and we're trying to tackle something that even big cities are shying from. And, I'd like to see something of the sorts, but I don't think this gives us,
Jay, are you talking about Carmel, Indiana?
whatever, I believe that was one you brought up that said they didn't,
I'm sorry?
the city that didn't want to mess with it. Was that Carmel?
Yes.
Oh, because it's like Chicago, Detroit, Ann Arbor, Lafayette, Bloomington,
Munster, there's
Indianapolis.
plenty that are.
All of them are bigger than them, and they're accepted it for a long time, 10 years or so, at least, right? I can't remember when Chicago did it. It's so far back, I can't remember.
So, that's how I say it. I would rather model us after Carmel than Detroit.
What about South Bend, or Lafayette, or
So-
Ann Arbor?
Either way, like I said,
Notice the yes.
The reason I'd like to wait is we just had a young man that was gonna buy a building. It had 2 units, 2 separate doors, and we turned him down. I'm not against it, I just wanna look at it. again, I always use my whole story about, you notice the neighbors didn't want him to have two people, two families living there. I think we have to look what's best for the town, and I think we'll learn that over a period of time. And that's why you have the BZA also, that somebody, we're not denying them, they can go to the BZA and talk. And I'm not against this, I'm just saying, right now I got too many questions on it. And the one I use as an example is the young man that wanted to buy the house over here off of Waverly. And it was two separate units except for the firewall. And we turned him down. And I just don't think it's fair to just all of a sudden change that. But I don't want to kill it either. I think we should look into it.
It's an interesting point to use that gentleman as an example, because he would fail under this.
Yeah,
So this would provide a solution to that. It would have never gone to the BZA.
yeah,
It would have been a clear guideline of, oh, I can't do that.
right. But I'm looking at for his neighbors too, you know, that.
And that's another argument for why we might have something like this, because that would say, no, that is not a permitted use. That is not an adaptation that is tolerated.
Well, I'm just giving you my opinion. I'd like to wait, that's all.
Well, let's get a consensus then. I'm gonna honor Jay's suggestion, withdraw mine, and frame it the way that Jay was framing it, was that, should we vote to, vote yes if you wanna say, I'm gonna approve the rental as is, but postpone dealing with the ADU portion of the framework for later. If you vote no, then I'm going to assume that that means you're willing to look at the ADU now. It doesn't mean that you reject the rental framework. Actually, let's get that off the table right now. Does everybody agree that the rental framework can go forward as is?
Yes.
All done?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a consensus for that, yes.
The only thing I want to bring up is two things, really. If you're relying on the BZA to grant these things, it'd be very difficult to support based on what the BZA is supposed to be doing. Secondly, I just don't know what you want the staff to do at this point, because you have a vote 4-3 to not do these, to not set these things up, to not permit.
I'm
these.
sorry, you're fighting with a train.
What's that?
I can't hear you over the train.
Oh, I come up. We have to get some microphones as we speak. Because sometimes down here, I can't hear what.
Exactly, that's the issue, yeah.
What I'm saying, I guess, is that, you know, what things are gonna change, if you want us to table this, what issues are gonna change that would permit the tabling or be beneficial to have a tabling of this item? The issues are the same issues that are gonna be coming up at the next meeting, the meeting after that, you know, depending on how you set all these things up. But the issues are going to be the same. Either the difficulty is, if you don't have a family member that is staying in one of these units, or a family member eventually passes away, then what do you do with the unit? You can't really come by and spy on people to see what their intentions are. In addition to that, if you do permit the rental of the unit to someone that's not related to the person that's in the main dwelling, then now you've turned a single-family neighborhood into a duplex neighborhood. And that
Well, I disagree there.
Yeah,
I disagree because and I can cite examples, we have two
Yeah, but
ADUs that were built 20
Yeah, but
years
you
ago.
added another.
Were they built legally?
You had another choice on here.
Yes.
That didn't even require the second floor of an existing accessory building. So you permitted the building of two different structures, both to house folks, to house people, on the same property in a single-family residential zone. And you don't think that's going to degrade the neighborhood as far as property values?
I think that leads back.
Can I just
Then
answer?
why have a single-family zoning district? Why just open it up? Okay, this is for residences of any size, any brand, whatever. There has to be
I
some.
don't understand that question because our intention is not to open it up widely. our intention is to.
Well,
To answer your question, both of those went through the BZA. That's how they got it.
to kind of elaborate on what he's saying, like, here's one of my biggest concerns on it. And it's a hypothetical, but my life lives in what ifs and hypotheticals is, I put an accessory dwelling on my property for my mom. My mom moves in, my mom moves out, or passes away, and maybe me, or maybe I sell my house, and the next person comes in and they say, all right, well, I'm not supposed to do this, and we know how all that works. So I go on the back door and say, sorry, Jim, you're a single mom with a kid. All right, here's our backdoor agreement. You signed that you're gonna pay me $500 a month to live there, which isn't supposed to be done. Now the neighbor, the single mom who doesn't have money moves in. We find out, and what do? We're gonna fine them for breaking it, and then we're gonna kick the single mom out that needs to go find somewhere to live? Like, those are problems that we run into that I don't want to have on my conscience, that now that we have to decide, well, if we're gonna follow the rules, she gotta go. She may not have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
And I completely get the intention of this, and I wanna support that, but the problem is we all know how the world works. And again, I live in a single family neighborhood. R1, I think we need to honor R1 to our residents. And I know it's against the code, but the reason we have code enforcement is people don't follow that. And this isn't something you can fine away. This is people's lives, and a potential single mother or a college kid that now has to find somewhere to live or is gonna be sleeping in their car because we caught them, and now our building commissioner has to make a decision. Just a lot of unknowns that we open up in 20 years or less that we're gonna have to deal with. And until we have answers to all of those hypotheticals, or at least similar, I don't think we're ready to go forward with it.
Thanks.
Can I say something? I'm sorry. I don't think they're hypotheticals. I think you can look, and I've done a lot of research on this, you can look at every major, even little towns. There's so many of them, just thousands of thousands of thousands. And they've been doing this for a long time. And they start off small, and then they expand. They do move cautiously, like you said. And if there's parking constraints, they don't allow them there. I don't think your neighborhood is structurally sound for one anyway. And if there's sewer constraints, like in Porter, they wouldn't allow them there. But they allow them in some R1 districts. And if they want to expand, they do. It's the government. We don't move fast and break things. We do things with caution. And I think that we should apply that same thing here. But when you ask, well, I don't know what it's gonna look like in 20 years. Well, look at those other cities. What are they doing? Are they a community of duplexes? I think what changes in this conversation is, and it does make me upset a little bit, is the framing of this. Of course you're scared, because he told you it would be a community of duplexes, and he told you you're eliminating your R1. But when you actually do the research, I don't think that those things are true. And I think the other thing, Carmel was brought up, so I do think I'd like to reframe it so that it makes more sense, so it's based on facts. Carmel was brought up, but when I looked into that, it wasn't that, it was the planners and the city council that wanted those ADUs, right? It was the residents that came forth in fury saying, we don't want this, and we think it's gonna be a community of duplexes. It was the planners that said, no, it's not gonna be a community of duplex, it's gonna be fine. But we don't think it's gonna make a significant change in our housing issues, so we'll listen to our residents. In this case, I don't think Porter is saying that. I think Porter is building them, illegally in all kinds of different ways. I have 5 within a half mile of my house. And I think Michael has mentioned a couple people that want to build them. I think there's a couple people on this board that find them useful. I think the residents here are saying, and I would change my mind if 30 people came into town council and said, we don't want these. I think the residents here are saying that we do want them. And I think it's a very logical, normal, regular thing that thousands and thousands and thousands, like literally, I'm going to Ann Arbor this weekend, so I'm like looking up like every town that I'm going to. Ann Arbor allows them, Kalamazoo allows them, Battle Creek allows them, like everybody allows them. But they do have very strict guidelines, and all the guidelines are a little different, right? So I know Battle Creek liked them so much that they stopped the owner occupancy portion of that. I was like, that's weird, because usually it is owner occupied, is a really strict one. A lot of people say no short-term rentals, and that's easy to monitor because you can see them on the websites, right? no short-term rentals. But usually people do allow them renting because renting is an affordable option, and that's what we're trying to solve is our affordability problem. But I almost think it's irresponsible of our planner and our building commissioner to frame it in such a way.
On your survey form, you said that you wanted to permit this in some of the R1 and R2 districts, but you can't do that. Your zoning rules are based on a specific zone.
How did Lafayette do it then? Because they're
So you
expanding.
can't say, okay, on these R1 districts, you can have that, but over here you can't. You can't do that.
Why don't we do a special use permit that goes in front of the planning commission then? I know some towns have
sorry?
done a special use permit that would go in front of the planning commission instead of the BZA. And so we'd have the exact questions that we want. We can
Is there
really
still a
control it.
special use? I thought it was taken out of the state code.
Well, you can add, right, you'd have to change these zoning districts to allow that as something that,
Well, you can't do it by, okay, some of the R1 you can.
No, I don't think that's
And
right.
some of the R1 you can't. You can't do that.
I don't
You can
disagree.
modify your districts to permit it, but why don't you just open it up to zoning everything R3 then?
Because
Jim-
it's
Jim,
still
that's-
That's
our,
kind of what you're doing.
Jim, that is such an exaggeration. That's such a hyperbolic statement. Nobody here is
But
talking about
what you're
anything
doing, though,
like,
is-
nobody here is making anything like that. So please don't put that on us, because it just,
But the effect.
Jay brought up something that we have to really consider, and it wasn't hyperbolic. It was a genuine use case. Don't say that we're making everything R3. Nobody
Well,
here is doing that.
what you're-
You also said that we cannot do it. Which body here changes the zone districts? The plan commission.
What I'm
It's
saying
an
is you
overlay.
can't have
You're making absolute
You can't have
assertions
two
that don't
different
seem to be
requirements for the
asserted.
same zone, is what I'm saying. You can't have R1 that's permitted to have.
What's the lakeshore overlay?
What's that?
What's the lakeshore overlay in Porter?
The
It's a
lakeshore
different sort of
overlay?
rules for a district.
Oh, it's, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that we should create. I'm not
justification-
saying that we should create.
Well, let me finish my answer. The justification for that is it was developed with extremely small lots on extremely difficult terrain. So those are the, you can justify having special rules for certain parts of the town.
That's what we needed to hear. Thank you. That's what we needed to hear.
Let him finish his
Okay, what part of town is gonna have these and which one does not?
probably Waverly, that's where they're all at anyway.
But that gets to the point.
And what's the justification? Is it something physical? Is it something mental? Is it age? What are you gonna base it on? It's.
Oh, I have a
Lot
list.
size.
Sorry, I do have a list, but
Yeah,
are we're talking about this then, I
Right.
guess? Okay.
right.
I think, it
And
should,
it's not exaggeration that you're opening it up to basically having an R3 district in all your residential zones. That's exactly what you're permitting. More than one unit on a zoning lot.
but that's the thing, Bloomington did a deed restriction that you had to file, and I really like that idea, that they cannot be sold separately. They're still considered single family. And I like that you have a deed restriction
But
on
if you
it. They
come
can't
in
be
and-
sold separately.
But if you come in and have one ownership, you can still have a rental unit.
Yeah, and that's the point of it, is to have affordable rental units, is you don't have huge apartment complexes. But yeah, I think that's the idea, is that they wanted to open it up to more affordable
So you
housing.
want your affordable housing to be in your R1 districts,
I-
where your most expensive houses are built in.
I personally, if you ask me personally, I think these things are an eyesore. I think apartment complexes are too. So if you want to say that they're offensive, I might agree with you on a personal level. But I think the responsible way to look at this is to ask what the people of Porter want and to look at our comprehensive plan and understand our problems and go from there. I think apartments, I voted for that even though I don't like them personally. I think you don't like them, and I don't know if that's necessarily the personal avenue is the way to go with this. I'd like to look at it, what's best for the town and what do the people want and what does our comprehensive plan say?
But how are you gonna do that? Are you gonna put it on the ballot someplace, or?
Well, I'm waiting.
Survey, right?
I mean, you already have 4 members that don't want this, right?
Right.
That's what your survey said, you don't want it. So what's gonna change between now, if you delay your decision, what's gonna change? between now and
I'd like
you
to
bring
give
it up in
them,
February.
I didn't like the framework, I'd like to give them a chance to look at their own research if they haven't already done so, I suppose. Because when I looked at it, I was very scared what you guys told me, and I'm like, is that true? Is it a community of duplexes? No, and I'm like, oh, does it turn to R2? I don't wanna do that. No, not that either. I don't know, I guess that's what I thought, and I think, I can understand why they think that too.
Well, I mean, are your minds changeable?
Mine isn't, not at this time.
Okay, have a seat, Jim.
No problem.
Thank you for your help. I appreciate it. That's right, but, so,
This is turning into the last meeting again, where we spent 2+ hours talking in circles. I asked at the last meeting if we want to go forward with it. Chris asked if we want to go forward with it. Jim sent out a survey. 4 of the 7 people said they don't want to go forward.
okay, that survey is
So why
not,
are we
that
still
survey is
talking
not,
about it?
Mike,
Then
that
we
survey,
got
that
Tara
survey is
saying,
not part of the
"Wait a
process of the
minute."
plan
And
commission.
what we're doing is you're arguing 2 totally divergent things and wasting time. And then I have Tara say that I'm irresponsible, which I really don't appreciate.
I don't
And
appreciate you calling my
if
community a community of
If you want to
duplexes.
passionately talk about something you like and then say, his personal opinions in here, it's your personal opinion too. All you guys are doing is arguing in the same circle we did at the last meeting. We sent out a survey, asked for people's opinion. 4 people said they don't want to go forward with it, so stop. We're done with the ADUs. That's my opinion.
I heard a much more
This is
new,
infuriating to sit here and listen to the same discussion in circles again.
well, Mike,
You're not getting anywhere.
Mike, I'm sorry,
You have 2 divergent opinions. You're not gonna come to an agreement, so why do we keep talking about it? Answer that. I'd like, let's take a vote. Do we wanna go forward with ADUs, and then we're done.
how about, I'll send the president, I'll decide what the
I know.
vote is on.
But that's what
And-
we're doing. We're
and-
talking in the same
and to the
circle
extent-
we did last time, and then we have this very passionate lady here talking about what she wants to, but she calls me irresponsible, and she calls him irresponsible. I don't appreciate that. This is a live stream meeting. You're calling me irresponsible? You know what I
Forgive
think?
me, I did
You
find,
can-
I was not
that's a-
offended by the
that's an
term, but I
awful
found,
thing to say,
I
and
did-
I really don't appreciate it.
I
And
wasn't,
I'm not happy with that. Thank you.
Registered, thank you, please don't repeat it, Mike.
Okay.
I hear you, I hear you.
We're talking in the same circle we did the last time.
I think Tara wants to say something. Do you?
no, I just don't want that term to be repeated. I wasn't offended by it personally, but I think it could be offensive.
Okay, I heard a much more nuanced set of opinions here than yes or no. I heard no, I heard later. I heard I like most of it, but I need more time. I didn't hear yes or no. So I don't characterize it as that. But what we're looking for here is consensus, and I think the consensus is we need more time. I want to figure out, and I don't know, what we'll do with that time. Tara Duffy's made a suggestion was that we all have the opportunity to do more of what she's done, which is share research. Not sure how to do that, but maybe that is a wise thing to do, to address some of these things. I certainly concur that we have something that's very important that we can move forward with, and it's clear that people want to do that. I heard that we said, the part of this document, which is the part of the framework document, which says, please use these policy guidelines as you draft a set of code. Let's go forward with that and direct Mike to get that done. Full stop. Are we all in agreement on that?
Yes.
Right. I would really like to see the ADU done for all the reasons I said, which is basically true. The comprehensive plan recommends it. It exists in the town, it won't go away. And I see genuine merit in it. But Mike is right, the discussion right now is not productive. I'm going to sit and I'm going to think about how we can make a more productive discussion, but I don't think that that's going to happen tonight. So I would ask that we vote to say, let us lay aside and table the ADU section of this document for now. We'll pick it up again at another time.
So I make a motion that we move forward with the rental guidelines for them to turn that into what we need for our ordinance without the ADUs included.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the motion passes.
Do we want to,
Roll-
for the ADUs?
You might do it a roll call vote. A roll
Wanna
call.
make opposed? I don't know if everybody voted in favor.
Oh,
Yeah, do a roll call vote.
okay.
Do I need to
Mr.
re-motion?
Craig?
Yes to my motion.
Wait, I think we may have a,
Point of order, I'm just suggesting a possible amendment, if you were acceptable to it, instead of just a blanket tabling of the ADUs, maybe give it some kind of a time frame that we try to come to a conclusion by, so it just doesn't languish.
So my thought on it is, I didn't want to add to more discussion tonight that I was going to follow up on is when do we review our comprehensive plan?
even numbered years, so January.
So when we start that discussion, if we do another public segment, we can request public input on that, and then we can reach out to our community, because I'm sorry, I know nobody's knocking down the door, but nobody's paying attention overly to plan commissions. We don't have a local paper that's putting this in the paper that we're discussing this topic anymore. Then we can maybe get a better impression from what our citizens want, so we can serve them, which is what we're supposed to do, during maybe that discussion.
So why
And
don't you make an amendment to put it on the agenda for the January meeting?
so,
Okay.
I amend my motion to include that we will discuss this when we review how we're going to proceed with reviewing our master plan, right? Master plan?
Comprehensive.
Comprehensive plan, I'm sorry. When we review our comprehensive plan. I amend my motion, and request a roll call vote on it. When I get my review.
Are you okay with
I'll
second?
second.
Second, well, I
The
can
original second.
re-second if
I know
I.
this isn't exactly rules of order, but this isn't exactly.
Where's Robert's rules of order?
Yeah, we're trying.
Okay, are there any questions or clarifications before we do the roll call vote? Okay, Tammy, roll call vote.
Mr. Craig?
Yes.
Mr. Erickson?
Yes,
Ms. Bird?
Yes,
Mr. Bogowski?
Yes.
Mr. Burge?
Yes.
Ms. Duffy?
Yes.
Mr. Malinger?
Yes. Thank you. I know you all care deeply.
and I'd like to
That's why-
say
that's why it
something.
was-
I don't know why we send out a thing to ask you to vote on and then we overdo it. I really think that's ridiculous, all the years. I mean, all we're doing is, we're gonna hatch the same stuff again. I have no problem looking into it, except, I don't think it's fair to the people that live in R1 at all. I'm just being honest. I got a big house, I could rent it out too. If you're doing it for money, we're supposed to be on this board, and please don't anybody take it wrong, but you're supposed to do what's best for the town, not what's best for the individual. And I feel like, and again, it's nothing against you, Terry, you've done a better job than I've ever done. I just think you gotta really look at what's best, and I don't know how you're going to administer that, changing things. And that's why we have Jim and Mike there, and Jim and I have bounced heads off of one another over the years, where I thought he was gonna kill me one night, but I appreciate your input. But I'm just saying, please, going along with this, that we really sit there and what's best, what we already have set up. Why have the meeting and say we're making this R1 and this is that? There's a lot of problems. Well, never mind. I spoke my piece.
Thank you. Any other update from town council, your town council?
No, nobody's got through the salary ordinances and stuff like that, so things are humming right along.
Congratulations again through the year. Our board of Turkey, do you have any comments for us? Anybody else want to do anything else?
Merry Christmas.
The only other thought I wanted to add, kind of piggybacking on Jim's thought there, is being our town's representative to NERC, one of the biggest challenges for Northwest Indiana is affordable housing, and doing some of the very things that are written in here concerning the ADUs as far as helping to take some pressure off of that. So I think it's worth at least looking at, but obviously taking in all the concerns that everyone's expressed. The details, the devil's always in the details, right? They have to get sorted out. If we can get those sorted out, it might be, I think, a worthy endeavor to at least explore a little further, especially looking at the information NERC is providing on the housing aspect, that any creative ideas we can come up with to help address that would be a good thing.
No, and I agree with that in concept. I just think that especially we have just too many unknowns. And maybe I'm just old school. I don't know. But I've been in this town my entire life, and it's based on my opinions on living in this town my entire life. So.
Well, we have an attorney here. You ever try to get somebody out of a house?
Let's not go there. Let's not go there. The good news is, the town is so lucky to have people who volunteer their time, all of whom care passionately about the town and are willing to tackle this. I'm proud to be a member of it. Thank you all very much. Merry Christmas. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second it? All in favor?